Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena here. You're watching our video comparison between the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. So this year we see two new iPhones yet again, but they're on a grander scale, bigger in fact. So you have the iPhone 6, which features a 4.7-inch display, and then you have its even bigger sibling in the iPhone 6 Plus, which has a 5.5-inch Retina display. So two different phones, two different sizes. We're going to find out exactly which one's going to cater more to you. They're equally beautiful, but they're not equally portable. That's basically what separates the designs of these two iPhones. The iPhone 6, of course, being the smaller handset, is more compact to hold in the hand, whereas with the iPhone 6 Plus, it's tall, large, and wide, so it's quite a handful to operate. But despite that, they have really solid constructions thanks to their unibody aluminum finishes. The button placements and ports are identical on both devices, so you have their Touch ID biometric fingerprint sensors incorporated into their home buttons. On the right side, you have their power buttons. They're both raised, good equal responses. They're nano SIM slots. On the left, you have their volume controls combined with their mute switches. The top is clean, and the bottom, they're home to the Lightning docking port, the speaker grills, microphone, and 3.5mm headset jacks. They also have different size displays, the Plus being the larger one, of course. The iPhone 6 chimes in at 4.7 inches with a resolution of 750 by 1334 pixels, and the iPhone 6 Plus has a larger 5.5-inch panel at 1080p resolution. So when you do the math, they both actually come out to the same pixel density count of 326 pixels per inch, meaning they give the same amount of detail, so not one is superior over the other. As we slowly check out some of the other characteristics of both displays, we begin to notice that the iPhone 6 has a superior one. First of all, it has the higher brightness output of 606 nits versus 574 with the iPhone 6 Plus. It also has the better viewing angles. And finally, color reproduction, they're both kind of on the same level with both. Not surprisingly, they're both running iOS 8, the latest version of the platform, so the visuals are pretty much intact. There's some minor differences, but they're not really extraordinary between the two. There's only a slight advantage with the iPhone 6 Plus due to its larger display. For one, the larger display of the 6 Plus gives it an extra row of icons with the home screen, and the other being an enhanced landscape support with the iPhone 6 Plus. So with certain applications, for example, the calendar, if you tilt it to landscape, it's going to rotate, and what you get here is a two-pane view. So it's very ideal and kind of makes good use of the display. You also see it in things like the mail application. So you have it in portrait, looks normal, you tilt it to the left or right, you're going to get this two-pane view. In theory, it's the iPhone 6 that should offer the better performance due to its lower resolution display, but that's not the case. They are actually running the same chipset, a dual-core 1.4 GHz Apple A8 chip, which is a 64-bit base architecture, and coupled with 1 GB RAM. And honestly, these two are speed demons. They are responsive, quick, and they're also wonderful for gaming. They're sold through the 4 major carriers here in the US, so you have 4G LTE connectivity with both, meaning you're going to get very fast page loads. But the iPhone 6 Plus offers a slightly more ideal experience when it comes to surfing the web. Just because of that larger display, you get more visibility of an entire page. But despite that, they both offer the same set of connectivity features. They include things like assisted GPS, Bluetooth 4.0, dual band Wi-Fi, and NFC. The same thing applies to their camera apps. Nothing different between them. They're exactly identical to one another. Very simple layout, same set of features, and the same controls as well. Apple has given both handsets the same exact camera, with the exception of one special feature thrown into the iPhone 6 Plus. So it's an 8-megapixel iSight camera, which features a 5-element f2.2 aperture lens. You have a True Tone dual LED flash, 1080p video recording, as well as a cool slow motion 200 frames per second capture. But the iPhone 6 Plus benefits by having optical image stabilization, whereas the iPhone 6 only has a digital one. Now, one would think that the iPhone 6 Plus would have a benefit with its optical image stabilization when it comes to shooting 1080p videos, but that's not the case. Both the optical image stabilization of the iPhone 6 Plus and the digital one used by the iPhone 6 work pretty well in keeping our video recording very smooth and shake-free. On top of that, the overall look of the 1080p videos they capture, they're pretty stunning too. You get good detail, and the continuous autofocus feature is pretty smooth and adapts well. They boast the same music player. As far as their audio recording with their respective speakers, interestingly enough, it's actually the smaller iPhone 6 that produces the stronger volume output. In fact, it manages to deliver 74.5 decibels of power, whereas the iPhone 6 Plus, despite its size, it only gets up to 71.6 decibels. Naturally, they handle video playback with no fluff at all, but the larger size of the iPhone 6 Plus, its display to be exact, makes it more ideal for the occasion because bigger is better when it comes to watching videos, especially if you want to watch them with friends. Here's another shocker, folks. Their call quality performances are identical as well. They are fantastic. Even in noisy environments, their earpieces produces very strong volume, so voices are still robust, clear, and distinctive to the ear. The 6 Plus is the bigger phone, so it naturally also benefits by having a larger capacity battery, and not surprisingly too, it has the better battery life. In fact, under our battery benchmark test, it manages to pull in 6 hours and 32 minutes from a full charge, whereas the iPhone 6 only came in at 5 hours and 22 minutes. Now, as far as real world usage is concerned, you're gonna get still an easy one-day usage out of them, but you're gonna get just a little bit more juice out of the iPhone 6 Plus. Essentially, it boils down to two things. First one is size. So you have the iPhone 6 Plus, the 6. If you just like the larger handset, stick with the 6 Plus. If you want something a lot easier, more manageable with one hand, the iPhone 6 is a no-brainer for you. The other being price point. It's $200 for the base price point of the iPhone 6 with the tier contract versus $300 with the 6 Plus. So if you're inclined to save money, stick with the iPhone 6. If not, 6 Plus. So as we've seen here in our comparison, they pretty much perform identical to one another, save for the sizes, display resolutions, and the battery life. We talk about taking photos, the snappiness of the two, and even some other characteristics of the platform, pretty much identical. So if you guys want to learn more about either device, you could check out our website, PhoneArena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.